Hey, did you eat yet? This is Victor, and today we're in the Sunset. The Sunset District is on the west side of San Francisco, one of the largest neighborhoods in the city. Since the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, the Sunset's demographic is made up of mostly Asians, with a majority being Chinese. And as a result of that, there's a ton of Chinese restaurants and businesses in the area. I'm from the East Bay, so growing up, I didn't cross the bridge too much to go into the city. Maybe once a month or so if my parents wanted to pick up some roast duck at Chong Hing after they visited their Chinese doctors. Later on in college, we used to visit our friends at SF State a lot, so we would end up hanging out in the Sunset, and we discovered how much great Asian food there was. Since then, we try to hit up the Sunset periodically to check out what's new in the area, as well as hit up some of our favorites. Today, we're meeting up with my close friend Brandon, who grew up in the area, to learn a little bit more about the Sunset.
What's up guys, I'm Brandon. I am Victor's longtime friend and best man at his wedding and future uncle of this baby that's in the womb right now. Today we are here in my home area, the Sunset District of San Francisco. And yeah, this is where I grew up, showing Victor around my area. And not a lot of people outside the city come to this area because it's obviously very far. We're not close to freeway entrances, but it's what I call home. This area is basically like a small community, most residential area of SF. I grew up here. It's very Asian, especially in like 70s and 80s when they started flocking in. A lot of really cool mom and pop restaurants, stores here that have been here for decades. It's changed a lot, but this is what I call home. And yeah, today we're gonna take a walk and show you guys around.
In this episode, we're gonna highlight some of our favorite spots in the Sunset, learn a little bit more about the area, as well as check out some newer spots we haven't tried yet. Let's go eat. Gao Viet Kitchen opened in the Sunset in late 2022 and has been a favorite in the Bay for a few years now, with the original San Mateo location opening in 2018. With the same family behind Ben Tre, Gao is their concept on what Vietnamese cuisine could be when pushed beyond the traditional. We started with the dino bones, which are giant bones full of marrow, boiled in their 24-hour pho broth. The broth is delicious, and the marrow was a good start to the meal. To share with the table, we got the ban kun, a rolled rice flour appetizer filled with ground pork, wood ear mushrooms, sausages, and more. The ban cat, which are like Vietnamese mini savory pancakes, bite-sized, crispy, and it's filled with mung bean and shrimp, green onions, and more. And then we get into the noodle soups. First up, the soft shell crab ban can, which is a thicker noodle soup. It's a much simpler soup and is served with pork, quail eggs, carrots, daikon, and more. We also got the wok pho, a northern style pho with their 24-hour beef bone broth. It has some wok tossed ribeye, egg yolks, garlic, ginger, and all the other toppings. Everything we had at Gao was great, and while there's some crazy items on the menu that push beyond what traditional Vietnamese food might be, it's authentic to the chefs here who put this together, and it all works. Mini Potstickers opened their first location in the Sunset last summer, and has since opened up a few more locations around the city. Mini Potstickers took over a location in the Sunset that has rotated a few different spots over the last few years, so this was the first time we got to try it. From the window outside, you get a full view of the dumplings being made fresh by hand. This is art for me, and I love watching when the food is being made. With a menu full of different types of dumplings and other snacks, I was excited to try some of them. We ordered the mini pan-fried pork buns, the most popular item on the menu. This was our favorite item here, and the dumplings were delicious with really good textures and flavors. We also got their Sichuan hot and spicy dumplings, which had a great chili oil served with it. And lastly, their Chinese burrito with beef and pork, which is just their take on a jian bing, where the crepe itself is made with a batter, and once the crepe is ready, you add in all your fillings, the meats, the cilantro, green onions, sauces, crispy wonton wrappers, and lettuce for the crunch, and you wrap it up. It's a fun snack, a little sweet, savory, and spicy. There's so many dumpling options at Mini Potstickers, and I definitely want to come back again next time in the area to try even more. Pineapple King Bakery is one of my favorites in the Bay, which has been a staple in the Sunset for nearly the last decade now. Right on the corner of 20th and Irving, it's a small spot with a pickup window and always has a line. You can find bolo baos anywhere. It's a staple in Cantonese and Hong Kong baked goods, but Pineapple King Bakery's buns are special. You have your standard bolo baos, which is what I grew up eating every weekend. But there's also a ton of creative options and fillings, and a lot of them are delicious. Every time I'm in the area, I'm grabbing the deluxe box, which includes 4 of their most popular pineapple buns. The mango pineapple puff is incredible. The filling is perfectly sweet, and goes so well with the bun. And the one I'm always coming for is just a pineapple bun with a slice of butter in it. Cut it through the middle with a slice of salted butter, and it's a perfect bite. Sometimes I'll have a box of plain bolo baos I bring home and I'll just put a slice of Kerrygold in there. Aside from the bowl of baos, they also serve a ton of other classic baked goods, like ham and egg buns, char siu baos, and hot dog buns. I always grab a box to take home with me to enjoy throughout the week. Pineapple King also recently opened up a second location in Fremont, so all of us in the East Bay don't have to drive as far into the sunset anymore to get it. Chong Hing is a Chinese spot on Noriega serving traditional Cantonese-style cuisine, and has always been the go-to spot to pick up roast duck for my family in the entire Bay Area, and that's been ingrained in me since we were kids. We grew up in the East Bay, but my family would see Chinese doctors in the sunset every so often, and I just have a memory of picking up roast duck from Cheung Hing every time we were in the area. This wasn't a place we'd ever sit down to eat at for me and my family, but something we just took home to enjoy. So anytime I'm in the sunset, I still do the same. And we bring the char siu and roast duck home, and serve it with some white rice and steamed veggies. Just a perfect, nostalgic meal for me. And of course, we can't leave the sunset without mentioning Santung. And Santung also doesn't exactly need much of a highlight either. Locally known for their wings, Santung is a hella popular Chinese restaurant in the sunset, serving some of the best chicken wings you can find in the entire Bay Area. Dry fried, sweet, sticky, and spicy, they're famous in the Bay. As someone from the East Bay, the sunset is one of my favorite parts of San Francisco. It's quieter, away from downtown, and has so much great food. With so many options, with both classic neighborhood staples and newer spots opening up, it's always fun to come to the sunset to eat. Since I'm not local to the area, I'll let Brandon close out this episode about where he grew up, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
We are on Noriega Street and 30th. If you come out to the sunset, I know it's a lot of residential, but you have these little pockets of just like little communities with grocery shops. Again, more mom and pop places, restaurants and all that. And again, it's predominantly Chinese because in like the 70s, like when my family immigrated here, a lot of the Chinese were already established in this area and avenues and basically created this little small community that I grew up with. And actually, my parents ran a restaurant for like many years, and it was right here. The location was right here. It was called East Village Seafood Restaurant. And so this area is very nostalgic to me. A lot has changed, but walking down is just like my childhood. I spent so much time on these streets just messing around. It's really part of San Francisco that I think a lot of people don't visit often because it's so far out here. But you can find really regional Chinese food here that you wouldn't find anywhere else in the city. And a lot of people don't even know what regional Chinese food is. If you know, in China, there's a lot of small villages with different dialects, different style of foods, like any other country. So Chinese food is not all like, you know, wonton noodle soup, sweet and sour pork, right? There's specialties like, for example, the Toisan food. They do a lot of cured meats and like clay pot rices. So there's like restaurants out here that specialize in that. And there's a lot of like Chinese-owned Vietnamese restaurants here from people who had to flee China and ended up in Vietnam, learn how to cook for a guy over there, and then came here and opened a restaurant. So right over here, Oriental Seafood Restaurant, that is where my parents' restaurant used to be. So we had, the restaurant here was from like 1989 to like 98, 99. Then we moved the restaurant to San Leandro as my family moved into the East Bay. They've kept the interior relatively the same too. But this is the stuff you'll find, like very mom and pop, local. I know we went to Gao and that was obviously the more modern stuff, but like basically this is what I grew up with. These kind of restaurants where it's just old school, it looks a little run down. I promise you the food is very good and they cater to local people. So it's not like they're like catering to like palates of tourists or anything like that. I encourage people to like make the trek out here and try out these restaurants that have like family recipes. Just give it a try. I think it's a part that got hit with the pandemic pretty hard. Not a lot of people visit. I want to see it thrive. As somebody who grew up here, moved away and came back, it's been tough to see these places. A lot of them have closed down. So definitely, if you do have the chance to come out here, come try out these places. Walk around, nice walk. Right by the beach, walk by the beach, Golden Gate Park. A lot of people don't know Golden Gate Park. In this tiny ass city, there's a nice ass park that I would say rivals Central Park. Yeah, this is the sunset.